What's going on, CrossFit Federal Way? It is Monday, and that means it's going to be a heavy day today. So, well, they don't always fall on Monday. Today it happens to. So, we are working up to a 1 rep max on our overhead squat. We'll talk about our standards there in a second. At the end, we've got a short little burner. So then we go into rep scheme today is a little different, but nothing new to us. So 18, 12, 6 of alternating dumbbell squat snatches. Yeah, you heard that right. So 1 arm dumbbell squat snatch, 50 pounds for guys, 35 pounds for gals, and box jumps, 24 inches for guys, 20 inches for gals. This one should be a fairly short time domain. We're talking 10 minutes or less maybe, depending on how well you can move through those alternating dumbbell squat snatch. So let's talk about our standards today. First off, with the overhead squat, they are from the rack. So we are going to unrack that bar on our back, and then from here you can push press it, push jerk, split jerk, do whatever you need to do. When it gets heavy, I find a behind the neck split jerk is my favorite way to get this bar overhead. So with a wider grip on that bar for the overhead squat, I'm going to jump it off my shoulders in a split, stand it back up, and then in this position I'm really thinking about externally rotating my shoulders. So I like to think about it, and people think this is weird, and that's okay. I'm really proud of my armpits. So I really want to show you my armpits. If I rotate my elbows towards the floor, I'm really trying to show you my armpits. That's creating external rotation in my shoulder. Another good way to think about it is if I was balancing dinner plates on my hands, I would have to externally rotate in order for my palm to be up towards the sky. So I'm going to show you my armpits, but then I'm going to turn on my lats. So I'm going to punch up into that bar by pressing up from my lats. I'm not shrugging my shoulders and ending up in this internally rotated position. I'm driving up with my lats. That's going to increase the tension in my thoracic spine and make it a little easier to keep that bar balanced and overhead. Now from here, the squat is pretty standard. Hips back, knees out, hips reach below the top of the knee and back up to standing. And when you're done, you could drop the bar or re-rack it on your back and walk it back into the rack, depending on what you're comfortable with. So we are working up to a 1 rep max, going as heavy as we possibly can on our overhead squat. We'll spend most of the class there, and then we're going to transition over to that little burner of a workout. So starting with an alternating dumbbell squat snatch. Forgive me as I'm still dealing with some issues with my left knee, so if I move a little funky, I might be compensating a little bit for that pain in my patellar tendon. It's getting better, but it's not better yet. So I'm going to start off with my right side. Have to switch hands every time. That's the trick to a good overhead movement. Single arm with a dumbbell is I want my arm to be nice and stacked, my biceps close to my ear, and it's going to allow me to keep that. If I can keep a stacked position here, then I don't require as much muscle tension to maintain that weight overhead. So it's a squat snatch, so I'm going to take it from the floor, a big jump, take it overhead and catch it in a squat. So up overhead, hips below parallel, and then back up. Now I'm going to switch on the way down. I can either take it all the way back down to the ground and switch hands, or much like a dumbbell snatch, make a good old standard dumbbell snatch, I can switch hands on the way down. So switch hands straight into my other side and alternating back and forth for 18 reps. Then I go to my box jumps. The box jumps today are 24 inches for guys, so good old standard box jump, 2-foot takeoff, 2-foot landing, stand all the way up at the top. Make sure you're squeezing your butt so your hips are nice and open. I don't want to see those box jumps where I come up only part way and come back down. While it still tires you out, it's not doing it the right way. So let's make sure every rep is done correctly. For these box jumps, I don't recommend necessarily rebounding. Why? Because that rebound on the box jump from here, rebounding and back up, that's a ton of tension on my Achilles tendon. So if I don't feel 100% my Achilles, if I've had issues in the past, or if I'm just not comfortable with it, don't feel like you need to rebound. Rebounding is a little faster, but I can't tell you how many times I've seen athletes end up injured, and particularly ruptured Achilles tendons from that. So for the most part, most of us aren't going to do that. Some of us can, some of us will. That's okay. They might be faster, but do I need to really go faster and rebound my box jumps in order to maintain a high level of fitness? Absolutely not. So, pretty straightforward video today. Let's go back to the whiteboard and check it out. Again, most of our class will be spent here on that heavy overhead squat. Then again, 18, 12, 6. Alternating dumbbell squat snatch. 50 pounds for the guys, 35 pounds for the gals. Box jumps, 24 inches and 20 inches for time at the end. So we'll have a overhead squat weight, and then we'll have our time for our squat snatch and box jumps. So that is what we're getting ourselves into. I'm excited about it. I hope you are too. So with that, guys, let's get after it.